Hey everybody, Asher here, back with more Hearthstone, where today we're taking a look at Priest once more, with a list that I've been having a lot of fun with recently, both on ranked and unranked as well. I have titled it Amaz because I cannot actually take credit for it myself. This is a list that Amaz put on his stream, titled it Unicorn Priest is Good. And you know what? It is a very interesting, fun deck to play, and it is a Resurrect Priest using Onyx Bishop and Resurrect, so there are 4 Resurrect effects. It doesn't have a lot of minions on the bottom other than Injured Blade Master, Wild Pyromancer. So a lot of what you're aiming to resurrect includes things like Priest of the Feast, Injured Blade Master, and then you have Sylvanas, Ragnaros, Ysera, and a card that I had to specifically craft for this, Yashiraj Rage Unbound, which is doing a surprising amount of work in this deck so far, not just from pulling from Barns or something, but actually just using on his own as kind of a end-game extender. So this is a bit of a control deck, a bit of a just get minions on the board. And there are a few interesting tech choices that hopefully we'll be able to see how they play out in game. Mind Vision is a very interesting card, especially from the old Priest adage of your opponents don't put crappy cards in their deck, but hopefully you can get cards that work. So the meta is shifting quite a bit as people experiment. People have caught wise to this deck since I first played it before. There's a lot of people that are playing with Resurrect Priest. We'll see how it shakes out by the time all the wings are out for Karazhan, but I'm having a lot of fun with this deck so far. Let's take a look at some games. Alright, first up, Druid. Now keep in mind that Menagerie Warden is not out yet, so the rise of Beast Druid, if it even comes to that, is not present. Do I keep Holy Smite in this matchup? I think I might as well. It's not awesome, but at least it's an early game removal or ping against something. Or worst case, we can use it to activate with Wild Pyromancer, which we happen to draw. So that's nice. I'm using Hearthstone Deck Tracker to see everything that's up here. We do have a turn 1 play, which is always nice to have as Priest. And we draw, ooh, Nourish. Nourish is a sexy card for Priest. Would we need it as mana or as card draw? It remains to be seen. Typically, our turn 5, we want to be doing powerful things, but how this deck plays out pretty differently is that you don't just mindlessly curve out. You don't just throw the Wild Pyromancer because you have it. We're going to possibly be doing turn 3 Injured Blade Master, but we don't want to, and I don't have an add-on that'll do this for me yet, but I don't want to pollute the Resurrect pool. So even though Injured Blade Master could potentially just straight up die to Wrath, which is always a possibility, that means that we can potentially bring him back later. Now the thing is that if you pull a card with Barns that's a 1-1, it doesn't get resurrected as a 1-1. I've already had plays where I've gotten Yashiraj or Ysera from Barns and was able to immediately resurrect next turn. That's one of those things that's really positive when you can do it, when you can curve Barns into Onyx Bishop. So that's a play to look out for, but at least for now, this is a test of, do you have Wrath or are you really going to swipe this? Or whatever he's doing. He's playing a 5-drop. So he's nourishing. And because he got his wall growth, he's going to be nourishing ahead of me. So I think we have a free heal right now. Interesting. Maybe I'm facing an Astral Communion Druid and I just missed the deck. I don't know. Holy Nova is not what we want unless we face Wisp of the Old Gods. Which in that case, Holy Nova plus Pyro is a fantastic combo. So he's at 7. I have 2 Shadow Word Deaths, which is great. So it's Malygos Rogue. We're not facing Rogue, we're facing Druid. Malygos Druid, no question. I was about to say we could Entomb, but we actually don't have the mana for it, so let's go ahead and get 1 death out of the way. Absolutely cannot leave that up. We could have potentially smacked it healed, but we're going to save the Entomb for the Malygos that we know is coming, or some other juicy target later. Now Resurrect does only affect friendly minions, so that's an Entomb target. For sure. Because it is 4 attack. And this is why we run 1 Entomb. We could save the Sylvanas Shadow or Death combo for something else later, but right now we have all the control, which I guess some people would say this is what makes Priest frustrating to play against. But look at this. I've done a lot of damage to him so far. And right now we only have... we're down 2 mana because I haven't nourished. I don't think I'll be nourishing this turn either. Interesting. Can't target that with the spell either. And once again, we don't want to pee in the pool, as it were. So I think what we're going to do is probably just... Well, I have to death that. And I don't have 8 mana. So there's a lot of things I can't do. I could potentially clear with a Pyro, Death, Heal. That does hurt my Resurrection a little bit, but considering I don't have any of my res effects right now, that's probably for the best. So let's get our all of our big control cards out of the way. Because we still want to be on board. And this is a very swipeable board, regardless, so we'll just have to make a do with what we do, right? Is there a Drake? Do we get a swipe in here anyway? Alright. Not a cost reduced swipe. And Darnassus Aspirant as well. Interesting that people are bringing those cards back. So Yashiraj, Rage, Unbound. Let's see. I don't think there's any reason. I'm really concerned about Wisps of the Old Gods even with this. So I think playing Sylvanas here is fine. I have no time for games. He can clear it with what's on board, but if he does that, then he just has to do it himself. So couldn't quite squeeze a Nourish in there. We have 2 Yseras in our deck. It'd be a great time to draw one. So Cenarius. Cenarius and Face. Well, that's cute. Alright. While it would be nice to possibly drop a Ysera, I think the safer play is probably Wild Pyromancer, Holy Nova, smack this, steal Cenarius. Because we can always play Yashiraj next turn and see if he has an answer. Like I said, it's one of those things where if you play him naked and you stay ahead up here, it's fine. I think that is the play, though, because it does knock down everything else. It does keep us from stealing him, but it's unlikely. If he's running Ysera and Cenarius, it's unlikely he's running Malygos as well. So let's see here. Let's do it like this. Make sure we got it right.
Let none survive.
Steal you. Not terrible. Stops his power play, keeps me on board. I have 2 potential plays, especially if I need to ping something. That looks like something I might need to ping. Alright, so second Nourish for card draw. He still hasn't seen what I Mind Vision, so this looks like an Astral Communion deck that didn't quite happen. So we have Onyx Bishop. We don't have a lot of good things to res right now. We do have a Sylvanas. That doesn't really help us here, though. I think the better play is Ysera, Smack. We could always res Cenarius later. So let's do that. So that's going to be 3 damage. This is why we heal this, because this makes these other spells useful for these kind of pings. Because Ysera on a naked board is just really good regardless. So now we could start playing the Resurrect game. It may be a Nourish Resurrect turn. It could be a Yashiraj turn. Alright, Mulch. And we get Captain Greenskin. A 5-mana 5/4. Yawn. The problem with playing Nourish is that it does kill the Wild Pyromancer.
I have no time for games.
Although at this rate, that may not be the worst thing that could happen here. So, what's the play? We can see who we res. There's always some options with that. Oh, hello, Cenarius. Alright. Then in that case, instead of going for the 2 mana crystals, I guess we just decide to buy in on what other things we can grab. It's just face time. So Nourish could lead to an interesting power play. The problem, unfortunately, is that I didn't have a solid way to actually kill this first. Alright, Alright, please take this. Alright, thank you. Little luck never hurts. Alright. Yeah, he's got a very top-heavy deck. Go face, please. Oh well. So Holy Smite doesn't work very well. I'm out of my big removals here. Yasharaj actually does survive a lot of things. Let's see if we can get lucky. It does set up potential lethal if he can't clear. And we get our own rag! He's not going to fire this turn, but we have our own rag, which is really problematic. Look at that insane value. Didn't even pull it from Barnes, but still. It's one of those things where if you build your deck around these kind of things, you can get some very good results. Now, pulling a Barnes is never very exciting. And I have a feeling this is going to be a innervate into Yogg Saron, because that's what most people do to tuck their tail in this situation. So, Wrath. Does he have double innervate? He's already played one innervate. Okay, so he's actually killing this. And I guess hoping to take out my rag. No, he's going face. Alright. Well, there we go. Power Word Shield is alright. I think it's actually okay if we go ahead and feast here.
Blessed be this funnel cake.
Yeah, let's see what we draw. Injured Blade Master. Doesn't do a ton for me here. I could Nourish. Could Holy Smite. Holy Smite's not very exciting right now, so I think we do have to clear here. Let's see, 5. Let's give ourselves some more bodies to dodge the rag, huh? It's very unlikely he gets all kinds of face damage here. So we get another minion, and it's our second Ysera. Oh! So close to victory here. So, if you leave Yasharaj up for a turn, you're going to have a bad time, especially when he pulls 17 mana worth of stats. Yeah, Resurrect Priest, not awful. Let's do another one. Alright, mage time. A lot of mages are playing Firelands Portal with good reason here. I could be justified keeping Holy Nova, but we really want our early cards. Injured Blade Master is good. We got a Holy Nova anyway. So we have a pain to deal with some of the problematic cards. Holy Nova to deal with some of the problematic cards. Most of the mages you see are tempo. Some are freeze. Freeze is an interesting matchup to navigate with this deck. But at least if you can get some good reses out, you can make things work. So, Mind Vision. Ooh, excuse me. So it's tempo. Hey look, the 2-drop Priest needs, right? But we still don't want to pollute our Resurrect pool here. So we'll wait. This is where Priest still gets to be a reactive class. It's pretty interesting. Alright. We are not playing a tempo game here, so yes, I am floating 1 mana crystal each time. Maybe it could be good. 5 mana, 3/4, and then 2/3 is not awful. Alright. Double Holy Nova for all your Holy Nova needs. So if he kills this, we can res it. And most tempo decks are going to say, I don't care about the risk, I have to kill it. So he's held on to a lot of spells. Alright. Alright, so Priest of the Feast is pretty good here. Holy Nova doesn't do a ton of work for us yet. And I could get him to go ahead and burn through his hand, because I do have some healing here. Let's go ahead. I think this is just the stronger play. I mean, we would be taking out one and we'd be setting up 2 Holy Novas in a row, which we'll be able to do eventually. Now we're going to get pinged all to hell, unfortunately. Kabbalist Tome? No. Arcane Intellect. Also a spell I don't like seeing right now. good. Face pings, I like those. So how many 1-mana spells do you have?
Let's make magic.
Okay, this is a much better Holy Nova. Alright, there's the Sniperino. And does he have... Okay, extra mirror image. So he's just going to trade into this. Does some of the work for me. Oh, he's really going for that ping value. Wow.
Wow.
All the face. That's one of those things where I would say sorry there. Oh, he's going for the kill. Alright, well, we're going to need some feast action here. I mean, I understand why he's making this play. Alright. Then we have to kill that. Which means we could still be dead to pings, but... We got a second Holy Nova. Alright, so extra card draw. You know he's got another spell. So that kills this thing. Alright, so down to 3 health. I don't think Barnes is going to save me. Would have playing this earlier made a difference? I don't think so. Not with the way that he held off smartly on the Flamewaker play. Alright, well. The only thing that doesn't kill us right now is Holy Nova, this. So. Could be dead anyway. That's how it goes. That's the thing, once again, with Hearthstone, is like, ooh, that's ugly. Alright, Ysera doesn't help us. Feast doesn't help us. We're just dead on board. So I'm 1 mana short here. About the only thing that saves me right now is pulling a Ragnaros.
Tonight, a tale of terrible tragedy. You like to play with fire?
Shit. Alright, yeah, that's not going to do it.
Well played.
And Barnes, that's the problem, is that Barnes, I posted on right before, I think my Barnes is broken because all he ever pulls is Wild Pyromancer. Anecdotal video evidence right there. Still, well played by Fred. You got a fast start. Sometimes Tempo Mage just draws the nuts, and there's not a lot you can do, even if you grab your board clears. That's where Excavated Evil sometimes is better than Holy Nova, even though I got the heal. But I waited until turn 5 to... well, I waited till turn 6 to play it, but I still think the turn 5 Holy Nova wasn't great. But I guess I could have played it first. Well, I'll have to watch that game again.
The light shall bring victory. Light smiles upon the just.
Alright, I will bet $0 that this is a Resurrect Priest. That's pretty much the new hotness for Priest right now, so it's what a lot of people... It's what the kids are playing today. So this Shadow Word Death isn't going to be nearly as valuable as a Shadow Word Pain. Excavated Evil might have even been pretty good. Blade Master is really nice in the Priest Mirror, though, because there's not a lot they can do. So Holy Smite.
Greetings.
Good. He's got a card.
Greetings.
Let's see what it is. It's Power Word Nothing. 2 Injured Blade Masters. Pretty good. Let's see if he does the friendly Priest Heal.
Thank you. Well played.
Alright, so, friendly Priest. Let's see what we got. Injured Blade Master, a card that I will admit that I disenchanted because I needed the dust for other things. And I was able to craft. Alright. I think... Pyromancer Smite is an interesting play. But I might be able to get some better Pyromancer value later. What I can do is shield this. Play this, and we got 2 4-attack minions. It dies to Excavated Evil, but he can't play... Oh, he hasn't played Coin yet. So maybe this does just die. Oh, excuse me. Or he resurrects and I get Resurrect. Always possible. I can't believe I just said that. Oh, Thought Steal. Okay, so we're running very different lists. And did he just mill himself? Okay, he almost milled himself. Let's see what we got in there. Shadow Word Pain. I'm going to do this because that plays around the Excavated Evil a little better. I really like having Pain. Pain Pyromancer is a good staple. Pain Pyromancer, Holy Smite, very good. So there's the Resurrect.
I have no time.
Oh, there's Sylvanas. Oh, we got a Sylvanas too. So let's see here. It doesn't really matter if we run too much in. I can run both of these guys in. That's probably smarter and just play my own Sylvanas since I have something on curve. Because the alternative is simple. I get to resurrect them later. That's the idea. Plus, it's pretty awkward. Because he dropped his Sylvanas first, he would get stuff from me, so there's Entomb. It's versus Priest. That's just how it goes. So, Onyx Bishop.
The game begins.
Good. Nothing else to do with that mana right now. Unfortunately, cards that get entombed are not going to be that thing, so that's annoying. And Shadow Word Pain as well. Makes me a little sad. Alright, I don't think I res yet. I think we go for Smite. He's gonna get a ton of Sylvanas here. Alright. Like, for all I know, he has a bunch of Onyx Bishops in hand, too. Like, so far, the only thing I've had die is Injured Blade Masters. And if you can choose between Injured Blade Master and Sylvanas, you choose Sylvanas every time. So, second Pyromancer. This will be interesting. I have an Angry Dog in the back. Flash Heal. Okay, what's your plan? Does he have a Holy Smite too or something? Oh, okay. That works out. Alright, too bad I didn't draw any of my AoE. I'm not going to use it for this. Guess we draw Ysera and see if he's running a second Entomb. Laughing Sister. Probably the worst card, but maybe not so bad versus Priest. So there's my Entomb time. Here's his dream card. Oh, Yasiraj. The things... We don't get value from Barns when we don't actually draw Barns. So let's see here. Painting this is best. Might as well heal face. Double Laughing Sister. Now the game's just really pleased with me, I think. So we got some plays. We got a Shadow or Death. More Thought Steals. Well, you can't say he's not playing with his own card. Okay. That is one form of removal. That's just giving me face damage, but that's okay. I'm not going to death it. We'll just play Rogue. Let's see here. That Nightmare happens at the beginning of his turn, I believe. So we'll get one more Dream card. Yeah! And it's Ysera Awakens, so we could be very close to chat lethal here, depending on what he decides to do. Okay, second Resurrect. Blade Master, definitely not what he wanted. Alright. Do we just play Yasiraj here?
Let me change your
I think we do. Yeah, Cabal's just not very good in this metagame right now. So I think if we play Yasharaj, we have a reasonable chance of doing a lot of face damage and setting up a Ysera Awakens lethal, or just giving him something else to kill. He would have deathed this last turn if he had it in hand, so he hasn't drawn a death. There's no way he makes this play. Alright, good. And who else comes out to play? Wild Pyromancer. This is just like, this card has Magnet. Summon every damn time. Every time. Everything's coming up Pyromancers. Alright, Excavated Evil. Can he kill this? I mean, I have Awakens in it anyway. And even though the game wasn't looking too great for me from the start, I wonder what he got with his other Thought Steals. I guess he didn't grab Sylvanas. It's like, I guess the test of this game is that he has 15 cards and he got unlucky not drawing a single Shadow or Death. So he knows he has to do that. He has no more healing, so we just win. Cool. Alright, so well played. Let's see what we res, just for funsies.
The game begins. The game
It's Onyx Bishop, that's fine. Everyone can die. Well, we win the Priest Mirror. That counts for something, right? Alright, so it's just 3 games. We saw that this deck does, well, Priest things for what Priest does well. And it still struggles if your opponent gets a really fast early start. And considering Face Hunter, of all things, is actually starting to make a bit of a comeback versus with some of the new introductions of cards, I'm starting to wonder if Priest is going to make it or not. But regardless, this deck, of all the decks I've tested so far, and there's a few other videos I definitely want to need to make. And once I get the Dustcraft Malagos, I can do some more of that too. This is probably the deck I've had the most fun with. About the only thing that you haven't gotten to see much of, well, there's 2 things really. First is that Priest of the Feast with a bunch of tiny cantrip spells can count for a lot of healing, especially if you can resurrect some Priest of the Feast. You still lose to OTK Warrior or OTK Rogue, which is starting to be a thing. But, well, I guess it's not technically OTK, but Giants Rogue, Giants Miracle Rogue video in the future. But still, this will heal you quite a bit and help you versus aggro. The other thing is Barnes. Well, I do jest that Barnes tends to only pull Wild Pyromancer. And I wish I had a deck tracker that would actually keep track of what Barnes pulled. Because I'm at 5 straight games now where he's pulled Wild Pyromancer, and I know that's an anomaly. If he pulls, there's a lot of things he can pull that does a lot of heavy lifting. Pretty much the only bad pull is Onyx Bishop. Even then, Injured Blade Master, if it's a 1/1, you can still res it later. Obviously, Wild Pyromancer you don't want either. But you see, Mind Vision actually did good. I could have used the Nourish if it came down to it, but it didn't quite become that kind of game because I happened to steal Cenarius instead. But once again, I like this deck because it's not really a tempo deck and it's not really a control deck. It's kind of just a pure mid-range. You have a kind of slow start, but once you get everything on board, especially if you can resurrect multiple minions and dominate the board, you can end the game super fast. Does that make this Unicorn Priest? Hard for me to say. There are some other players that are definitely pushing this archetype as well. But it is something to keep an eye on. Priest might actually be back in the fold after all. I never said Onyx Bishop or Priest of the Feast is bad, and I'm holding judgment until the whole set's released. But if anything, this deck's fun, and I've been winning quite a few games with it. That's not bad. This is Asher. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Hearthstone, and we will do this again soon. Take care.